Hi, it's Phil from Inclusive Music, teaching the world to make music with BandLab. Welcome back to day 3 of the BandLab Creative Challenge. Today's challenge is to remix a forked beat. What the heck's that, you might ask? Well, it's using someone else's beat or song and making it your own. So you start with their track, and then make it even better. So you want a fork? Allow me to show you how.
The fastest way to start creating a track on BandLab is to fork a beat. Forking is basically where someone has created a beat or song and is allowing anyone to change or remix it. This is great fun and is particularly useful when you're feeling uninspired or want to find someone to collaborate with. You can be sure that if you produce something that the original artist really likes, they'll want to work with you again, and, who knows, a beautiful songwriting partnership could evolve. So, you find a beat you dig, hit fork, and it's loaded into your mix editor. Now, you can start to remix, write lyrics, rap over the top, lay down vocals and samples, and make your own beat from the original creations. Hot Beats is BandLab's hand-picked collection of beats and instrumentals, updated daily. They're chosen to inspire you. Hit the plus symbol at the bottom of your screen on your iOS or Android device and select Hot Beats. Top tip: make sure you select hip-hop as one of your favorite genres on your profile page to get access to Hot Beats. Tap on any track to listen. And if you like it, hit fork to make that track yours. Now tap Mix Editor. Here we get the option to add a new track, but for now, we just want a quick listen to the forked track that we've just imported. Tap Cancel. Tap the play button. That sounds cool, but I'm not sure Phil will use that one. He is very opinionated. Oh sh*. Am I still on camera? Oh dear. Did anyone hear it? I gotta stop doing that.
Thank you, Fifi. Opinionated, moi. But yes, you're right. For this example, I want to fork the track Cranked by Sompi. I hope I pronounced that right. You can see here that most of Sompi's tracks are forkable. And here's Cranked, which means they are available to use and remix. So I've already done this, and it should be in my library. Click on Library and go to Cranked. Open in Mix Editor. Now, one of the important reasons I chose this particular track is because it's recorded in time with the metronome. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if I go to put the metronome on and play it, you'll hear the beats and the song exactly in time with the metronome. Now, why this is important as far as I'm concerned is that it makes remixing so much easier. For example, I could cut the track here or slice it by pressing S, and then let's go to bar 11 and press S and 12, S, and then I can move them around, I can remix them. And they're in time. I can also very easily go to loops. Let's go to all loops and let's just put in a search for a beat. And I'm looking for a beat at the same tempo, 140. So let's quickly whiz down. And it doesn't have to be exactly 140. It can be 5 beats per minute out, but it will affect the quality of the sound slightly. That sounds interesting. So in it goes at bar 5. Rewind. So you can see the advantage of that makes remixing really easy, and that's what we want. So let me undo all this. I'll just click undo a couple of times and we're back to where we started. There's no sound here between bars 1 and 2. So what I'm going to do is click on bar 2, click on the track, select it, press S on the QWERTY keyboard, slice it, and now move it to there. So it comes straight in. I'm also going to just move the loops, and I'm interested in going up to bar 25. So once again, click on bar 25 and press S on the keyboard, and it slices it in two, and I'm going to delete it. This is the bit I'm going to be working on. So first, I notice it's a bit quiet. And I can hear it's quiet, and I can also see it's quiet. In other words, the waveform is not that big. It's not touching what I call the ceiling or the floor. There's no easy way of doing that in BandLab, unfortunately, but there's a workaround. And what I'm going to do is go down to Effects, add an effect here. I'm going to find a compressor. They'll be in Dynamics, and the BL1176 is great for this job. So there it is. Let's just have a listen. Okay, let's take the compressor off by clicking on the power here. Okay, I think we can do it a bit louder, so I'm going to go to the output here, up to about 3.7 decibels. Let's have a listen to this.
Hey, that sounds awesome.
Just keeping an eye out on the monitor here. This is the output, and it did go into the red, so down to about 2.9. Try once more on bar 9. That looks good, and just once more, just take it off so we can hear the difference. Yeah, substantial difference. So although the waveform hasn't increased in size, the volume has gone up.
Don't forget, master the art of forking, and then every month you can enter BandLab's competition with a chance to win $500. What are you waiting for?
Thank you, Fifi. So I've divided this up into a kind of structure. Bars 1 to 9, I'm calling the introduction. Bars 9 to 17, the verse, and bars 17 to 25, the chorus. The first thing I want to do is add an additional beat to really beef up the rhythm. So I'm going down to loops and up to all loops, and I'm going to type in beats. Cranked is 140 beats per minute, so ideally I should look for beats around that speed. There is some leeway, and I'll try going 5 beats per minute faster or slower. so between 135 and 145. The reason for this is that to allow any sample to be played together in time, BandLab has used highly sophisticated technology to stretch or contract loops of different tempos. This is very useful, but inevitably, if we attempt to match a 90 beats per minute beat riff with a 140 beats per minute beat, it can sound strange. Of course, sometimes strange is good and works well. So none of these suggestions is set in stone. You must follow your own intuition and do what you like. Also, have an awareness of the genre that you're working in. In this case, it's trap. I enjoy experimenting with different genres of music, and I'm not afraid to try different genres of music together to see what happens. So in other words, I'm not a purist. I like fusion music. The beat I'm searching for is Electro Ghost. And there they are, Electro Ghost notes, drum groove 01. So I'm going to drag that over and put it underneath the beat, or the main track, the backing track, making sure it starts at bar 5 and finishes at bar 9. Let's have a listen.
I love that.
Now from bar 9 to bar 13, I like the drum groove Anticipate. And a quick way to find that, of course, is by going up to Search. And there they are. I've got 5 choices. The one I like for this section is number 1. I'm going to drag it in, same track, and make sure it starts at bar 9 and it finishes at bar 13. So while I'm getting organized, I'm going to call this track Additional Beat. I'm going to save my work. Now I like some variations on the groove, and I liked number 3 as well. So I'm going to bring that in at bar 13, 4 bars to bar 17, and the last groove is number 2. And I'm going to drag that to bar, or copy it to bar 25. Okay, let's have a quick listen. Right, next instrument is a bass. Down to loops. And another way to look for bass is to go to the instruments and click on the one you want, bass. And up come all the bass loops within BandLab. And if you keep scrolling down, they'll go on and on. Once again, it's important to remember the tempo of the piece you're working on. If something's too slow or too fast, once you add it into the track, it will sound rather strange. I liked Adrenaline Bass, so I'm going to go back up to search, type in Adrenaline, and there it is. And I liked number 1. Another factor to consider is what key this is in. It's in F minor, which is different from G minor up here, but I thought it worked well. So this is a guide. If you can find something in G minor, all well and good. If you can't, and you've got a good ear, experiment. So the bass is going to be dragged in from bar 9 and all the way to bar 25. Right to the end at the moment. There it is. Let's have a listen from here.
That sounds awesome.
And always remember to immediately try your new added loop in context with the track to see if what you've already got, the beats in this case, work with the new instrument, which is the bass. I like that. I want to add one small thing, which is to take this back 2 bars, and I want to add a sort of ending bass here. The one I like here is Black House Noise. So down to the loops, Black House Noise bass 4. And you notice it is exactly 140 beats per minute, so it fits well. Let's move this along a little bit and drag it in on the bass track, bar 23. It's a little bit longer than 25, but that's fine because I want this as a bit of an ending, as a bit of a drop. Let's have a listen from 17.
Wow, check you out. You're good at this.
And to hear it a little bit more, I'm going to bring those beats and the original backing track back to stop at 23 so the Black House Noise can really be heard. Much better. For the chorus, as I've termed it, I want to find a strong melody or vocal. I liked a vocal I discovered in another forked track, so I grabbed a 1-bar riff and mashed it up, changed the pitch using the amazing, well-hidden BandLab feature Audio Stretch. Here you can take any loop or sample and change the speed and the pitch. This is a great way of taking any sound whatsoever and working on it to make it fit with your song. So if I click here on the empty track, original rap vocal, there it is. Let's rewind to the beginning, and you can hear it in its original state.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I...
Now at the moment it's far too fast and it doesn't fit in with the speed of the backing track. So if I right click and go down to Audio Stretch, I've got some options. I could change the pitch up a semitone, down a semitone, or the speed by 10% up or down. But what is easier is to go to More. Click on that, and here's the Audio Stretch.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I...
Here's the loop waveform with just 2 controls to change the speed and pitch. First, I want to slow it down, so I'll start taking the speed down from 1, which is the normal speed. Let's try 7. Rewind, listen.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I...
Okay, let's apply that. And you'll notice it's got longer. It's been stretched. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. Let's have a listen.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and
I need it to be stretched to bar 3, so I've got a little way to go yet. Back in, right click, Audio Stretch, More. Let's try going to a speed of 0.6.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I...
And apply. Now watch it jump to a different size. There it is. And it's virtually on 3. And if I just pull this out, which is the way we can shorten a sample or extend it, we can get exactly onto the bar line. Now just to check it fits well, I'm going to copy it for a few bars, and to do that I go to the top right hand corner and let's take it to bar 9.
Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I... Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I... Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I... Help me just get by, they think I'll forget and I...
What do you think, Fifi?
That's okay, I suppose.
Okay, now I want to make it sound more menacing, as this feels like quite a dark track to me. So back to Audio Stretch to change the pitch. Right click, Audio Stretch, More. And we're going over here now to the pitch. Let's try taking it down by clicking on this flat here. 7, ST, which stands for semitones. Let's have a listen.
Told me just get by, they think I'll forget and
Okay, I like that. I'm going to apply that. Let's have a listen.
told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and
That's the effect I want.
No, no, no. What are you thinking of?
Next thing to do is to add some effects to the vocals to bring them out a little bit. I want this vocal to start in the verse. So bar 9.
told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and
And when it's in the context of this track, it loses its clarity. In other words, it's a bit drowned out by the rest of the instruments. So I'm going to add some effects to make them stand out. Click on the track and down to effects. So I'm going to add a Tech Lab compressor. Here we go, down there. In that goes. A bit of EQ, graphic equalizer, to enhance the bass or the treble or the mid. And I'll find that in tone, the EQ 3M. And a multi-filter. Found in tone again. There we go. Now I tweaked those effects and saved them as a preset. So if I go up to the presets here, I call it voice note cranked. So you can see there's the compressor, the equalizer and the multi-filter. And I've now added some more gain, some peak reduction. I've taken the mid down, I've increased the high and picked out the frequencies I like here. And by the way, I have no great knowledge about these devices. I just experiment and use my ears to make the different tracks sit in the mix. So don't worry if you have no idea what these do. Play with them until you find something you like. Let's have a listen now.
told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and
Okay, having heard that, I think the best place to put that would be in the chorus.
told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and told me just get by, they think I'll forget and
Now I don't want it to play all the way through because that becomes a little bit monotonous. So I'm going to grab the top right hand corner, the copy function, and I'm just going to have it playing once there.
told me just get by, they think I'll forget
And at bar 21 I think I'll bring it in again. So this time I'm going to press the right hand mouse, copy, and right hand mouse again, paste. I'm going to copy it once more, Control V is another way of doing that, and I'm going to mess about with a little effect that we can use here. This is where we can shorten the loop.
told me just get by, they think
To do this I'm going to go up to the view and change the grid size from 1 bar to half a bar. That means I have now got more divisions to reduce it by, and I just want that help me.
told me just get
Help me just. And once I've got that, I'm going to go to the copy function there, and we'll have 4 of those help me justs.
told me just told me just told me just told me just get
And now I'm going to look for what I call the icing on the cake. This is the term I use to give the track a more finished, polished feel. By focusing on a few elements, you can transform an average track to a more professional and interesting piece of music. Here I'm going to be using slicing loops, reversing loops, cutting parts out of loops, finding variations, stuttering loops, effects, and rises and drops. Let's start by slicing and reversing a loop. To create interest, I'm going to slice the beat at bar 8 and reverse that last bar. So onto bar 8. Click on this bit here. This is the Electro Ghost Notes drum groove. Let's solo that. Bar 8 and press S for slice. Now right click and reverse region, and you can see the waveform goes backwards. Let's have a listen. Let's hear it in context of the whole beat. And now let's hear it in context of the track. Perfect. I'm going to do that again, but this time at 12.5. Click that drum track, S, and right click, reverse region. Let's have a listen. Let's hear it first of all on its own so it's nice and clear. Okay, good. In context of the rest, let's go from bar 9. Okay, it's subtle, but I like it. Next, I'm going to cut out both beats completely between bars 15 and 17 to create some space to put something interesting in. I'll come back to that in a moment, but let's just cut it out up to 15. And I want to cut a slice there and a slice there, and go to 17. Click on the backing track, S, and now there are those two small slices which I am now going to press delete on the keyboard, and they're gone. This is the effect. Let's go from bar 13. So a nice break where you can really focus on that adrenaline bass. The next sound I'm after is a riser, which is a sound that suggests that something is about to happen. It generally rises in pitch and is placed just before a new section. The sound I've chosen for this is Noise Modulation 5. Let's find it again. Down to Loops, new search. So I'm going to type in modulation, see if it finds that word. It has, and the number I like is 5. I'm going to drag that in to the new track here, and I want it to start somewhere here. The important thing about this particular sound is where it ends, because at that point where it's loudest I want the verse to come in. So if I set bar 9 there, I'm going to move this, and at the moment I can't move it, it jumps because it's set at half a bar. If you remember, this is where you go to view and change the grid size. So let's go to a really fine grid, or even smart. Now you can see I can just push it and push it and push it and push it and push it. So about there. Let's have a listen. Great stuff. Let's straight away get organized and name that track FX1. And the idea here is to suggest that something exciting is happening. It's a build-up, it gets higher in pitch, and it brings in the verse from the introduction. It's like a transition effect. Now let's go back to bar 15 where I cut out the beat, and I'm going to add another icing on the cake transition effect. The one I've chosen is Hollow Thud Impact 2. A nice impact at the beginning and a gentle fade out. And I want that to start at bar 15. And I put it on the FX1 track. Let's have a listen just before it. I'm happy with that. I also want to add another similar effect at bar 16. And the one I've chosen is Impact Deep 04. There it is. Now I wanted it at bar 16, but you can see it's too long. So I'm going to drop it onto a new track. And now move it to bar 16. Just there. And now you see the tail is too long, so it would cut out thud impact here. If I had it on there, that would just stop it. So that's where I want it. Let's have a listen. Okay, finally I'm going to copy part of the original backing track between bars 7 and 9, as I want to reintroduce the original theme. But instead of just playing it normally, I want to change it slightly by adding a fast stuttering type effect. So back to the beginning, let's cut it at bar 7, slice there, to 9, slice there, there it is. I'm going to copy this, right click, copy, and then go to bar 23, paste it in, and I'm going to paste it again because I'm going to start editing it more between bars 25 and 27. 25, paste. I am now going to bar 26 and slice it in half. Still the same sound. And here's the clever bit with the stuttering effect. I'm going to need to change the grid once more. So view, grid size, 1/4. And it means I can shave off 1/4 of the sample. Now I'm going to copy just the first quarter. So you get this effect. And here I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go and change the grid once more. View, grid size, 1/8. So now instead of just quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can have eighths. And I'm going to copy that, drag it, and the effect is this. So let's go from bar 23. Let's save my work, rewind, zoom out until we can see the whole track. Rewind to 1 and have a listen. The last thing I'm going to do is just take the edge off the vocal here. Let me zoom in. I noticed it just goes on that a little bit too long. Let's go from here. I just want help me just. So I'm going to zoom in a bit further and make sure I move the cursor to that last syllable. So it's going to be there or there. Let's try there. Click on the sample, press S for slice. There it is sliced. Click on it and delete it. Let's have a listen. Perfect. Don't forget, everything I do in the BandLab 30-day creative challenge is forkable, so that you can practice the skills I cover in these videos and produce your own remix of my remix. You can find this on my BandLab page by searching @Phil Healy, and the track is called Crank Remixed by Phil Healy. Here's a big shout out and respect to Sompy for inspiring me with his original track Cranked. Please follow him and me if you're interested in hearing more of our music. Thank you for completing day 3 of the BandLab Creative Challenge. Please publish your remixes and send me a link so that I can have a listen. Don't forget to enter the monthly BandLab competitions by going over to blog.bandlab.com. $500 prize. Please like, share and subscribe if you found it useful, and ding that bell if you don't want to miss the next video, day 4, which will be how to create a track using only loops. Lastly, let me know in the comments below which of these remixing ideas you like best. So until the next time, stay at home, stay safe and keep making music!